You are listening to the Starter Girls podcast with Amy Lafitte
and Jennifer Loading.
And whether you are starting a project, starting a business, starting a brand, or starting a movement, we are here to talk about it. And I'm super excited to be here with Jennifer this week, and it's been kind of exciting. So, actually, I'll share with you first. I have been trying to figure out some of my autoimmune issues for a while, and I was inspired by Maria Emmerich coming on our show, and got her new book called The Carnivore Diet, and has so much good nutritional information. And she specifically was talking about that if you have an autoimmune issue and you haven't gotten fully healed by going keto or low carb, the next step might to be looking at that. And it's a pretty intense elimination diet. But I'm excited. I already started it, not fully all the way because I had to kind of ease myself into it. But it's been really great, and it's amazing. I can already see, they talk about some of the things that your body does to detox, and it's already helping me a lot, and I'm already feeling so much better, Jennifer. It's really exciting.
That's awesome. When did you start?
Probably last week. I just, it's weird because you eat a lot of meat, which is at one point I was vegan and vegetarian, so that's even weird to be I'm eating primarily meat.
Right. Well, and I was talking about that the other day because I think you and I want to say that it was after Maria came on. We were both already doing fairly low carb to begin with, but then when Maria Emmerich came on, I don't know, it was kind of like the kickstart again, it's after January, and you eat a lot during the holidays, and so I kind of kicked in. But interestingly, I got on the scale this morning, and I am never about weight.
Yeah.
My whole goal at the end of the day is if my jeans fit, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I just want my jeans to fit around the waist and in the butt. That's all I care about, my jeans to fit. They go on the legs, but if they don't zip up, they don't work very well, right?
No muffin tops here.
Exactly, no muffin top time. So I decided right after she came on, I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm going to kick in full throttle low carb, really low carb. So I've been doing pretty much Monday through Friday low carb, and then if I want to have a little bit of a cheat, I'm going to probably do it on Saturday. But even this past weekend, here's the crazy thing. So Monday through Friday, I did all low carb the whole week. I think I had a couple vodka waters in there, which are pretty low carb, no sugar in there, right? Yeah. So by weekend, I had gotten down. I think I lost almost 5 pounds.
Wow.
And then Saturday night I went out and had Mexican food, and I don't know what I got into, but no kidding, I got home that night, my eyes were itching, I got up the next morning, my face was puffy, my hands were swollen, and I'm like, I had to have gotten in some gluten, something, right?
Yeah.
So immediately Sunday I was back on. But then I jumped on the scale again today, and I was down another pound. So I'm down 6 pounds.
Sister.
Since I started that. I don't even think it's been 10 days, a total of 10 days.
Wow.
So, yeah, isn't that crazy?
I know, it's kind of fun. I mean, that doesn't always happen, obviously, but it's kind of fun when you do get rewarded.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's pat on the back. You're because that's not really the goal. But that's the thing that I was talking about. It's not really about that. That's not what I focus on is the weight. It's that you want to feel good, you want to be healthy, and you want your jeans to fit.
Yeah,
that's
it's been opposite for me. I haven't really lost any weight, but my inflammation is so far down. I look like I've lost weight. So I've learned for me, I have to kind of just go, again, how do my jeans fit? How do I look in my clothes? And I'm looking a lot leaner, even though the scale isn't showing up. So, I think it can be one or the other, but at the end of the day, nobody knows, by the way, what number is inside of your jeans, and nobody knows what your scale says except for you.
Exactly, right? But it is fun when you get on there and you're like, wow, you feel like something's paying off there, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it's like getting a cookie.
Yeah.
You're not eating the cookie, So
it might be better than a cookie.
It might be better when your jeans fit, it is better than the cookie. It makes it all worth it, right?
Yeah.
So, which I think would be kind of fun for us. We kind of talked here and we said, for our Starter Girls Weekly Top 3, maybe we'll talk about healthy Super Bowl foods.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Yeah, because the Super Bowl just happened.
Right.
And, trying to make those healthy choices.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So do you want to start or do you want me to go?
I can start, and then, I've got extra fun stuff to share.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
So I will say, I guess we're going kind of keto-ish because that's kind of what we've been doing lately.
Right.
So, but still fun stuff to eat. So I love buffalo chicken wings, but of course I don't do them breaded and fried or whatever, but now we've got air fryers, we've got Instapots, we've got all these cool ways. Honestly, the air fryer is really cool because it gives you that nice crusty and then still juicy inside. So I like to do chicken wings that way, and I do love some good buffalo sauce. I think it's so yummy. So, and then I'll say celery and blue cheese just to go along with it because that would just be fantastic to me. I'm all about it. And then I do like pork rinds. Not all pork rinds. Some pork rinds are like, ugh, gross. But I have found like this, I think it's like 450 or 4505 brand. They're
sure
really healthy.
Yeah.
And you can get them at Costco. And actually, like, they were on sale in January. Like, that you could get up to 10. So I came home with like 10 bags.
10
my
bags
husband's like,
what is
now they're like all like hidden in different parts of my house because we don't even have storage for them. But I was like, no, they're too good.
You know where to go for pork rinds.
Yeah, just come
Hey,
to my
I
house.
like all of your foods except the blue cheese. So my celery would have to have ranch.
Ranch,
on it, but
okay.
I like all of your all those choices are really good, and pork rinds are good. I also like beef jerky too. And you can get some pretty good healthy beef jerky as well. Would be good. So all of my three actually come from, all of my healthy recipes come from Maria Emmerichs. That's where I get my recipes. She just has phenomenal cookbooks, and she's got something in there for everything, whether it's a snack meal, something for a party or dish that you need for a big dinner or whatever. She's got something in there. So my three would be the flourless brownies. I love the flourless brownies. I cannot say that word. It's like a tongue twister. And the great thing about those is nobody knows that they're keto brownies. Like, they taste like regular brownies. And Amy and I talked about this before, where we've had to, like, we've made them, we have to hide them.
We do. Like
hide
for
them
the late guests.
Yeah.
Or for ourselves. Yeah.
Right, because people take them and there'll be none left. And you're like, leave my brownies there. They are so good. So I love those. And then she has in one of her recipes, and I think it's the very first book I got, it's that Quick and Easy Cooking. There's like these pizza sticks in there that's made out of cream cheese. Now, of course, I would use probably the cashew, the Kite Hill cashew, because I can't do dairy very well, but they are so good. They're like pizza sticks.
So it's cashew cream cheese.
Yes, called Kite. I think it's Kite Hill. You can get it at Target and Sprouts.
Yum.
It's good stuff. So, and it tastes just like cream cheese. Oh, yeah, it's good.
I have to try it.
Yeah, pizza sticks would be my other one. And then the other one, this is so cheesy, stupid simple. You just take hot dogs and wrap bacon around them and put them in the oven. It's like pig in a blanket. Out of the biscuit, you got bacon wrapped around it. They're so good. And then get yourself some keto ketchup. You can actually, I forgot the name of that brand. There is a brand that actually, and I put a plug in here because I do have it on my website where you can actually find this ketchup, but it is keto friendly because it's got, I think it's got xylitol in it. So
cool.
It's actually considered keto ketchup.
Nice.
So if you don't want to use the regular stuff, or you can make your own ketchup if you're creative.
Yeah.
You can make your own.
Thank you.
So yeah,
I love it. Well, and I have to say, I'm really excited in the world of football because there's been some really cool announcements that have come out recently, like in the last month or two. So we have now had the very first girl ever to win a 4-year scholarship for football in the college world, which is crazy to think about. Like, wow. I remember, crazy enough, like in the mid 90s when I was in high school, I was like, I would love to play football. I'm so glad I didn't now. I would be so injured. I would be like in pain all the time. But back then I was like, I don't know, rough and crazy. Like, I was like, I would love to play football, but I was like, how does that work? And you're in there with all the guys. Like, I didn't even know how to begin. And so I didn't pursue it or whatever. But to think now that we've got girls that are, and it's changed a lot, Isn't
that what they called those, like, powder puff games or whatever, where they let the girls play
yes,
football?
But that was like, nobody was playing for real.
Did you show up, though, for those?
No, because it was a different crowd that did that at my high school, and it wasn't like my crew. And I could tell, like, they were doing it, like, I swear it was like models playing football. Like, it was like that. It was like, there was no seriousness.
So they looked cute.
Yeah, no. Like, if you, like, actually, were playing football for real, you'd be probably really annoyed by being in that game. So.
Gotcha.
And then the other thing that's been really cool, and I've been really excited about Microsoft, their Surface Pro. They've been highlighting Katie Sowers, which is amazing. She is the offensive coach for the San Francisco 49ers. And again, even just to think, like, now we have, she may not be the only female coach, but I don't know how many, like, female football coaches there are. And I don't know how far I don't know enough about her background. I don't know if she got to play when she was younger or in high school or in college. Like, I'm assuming probably not college. So, like, to think that you would be a coach for that, and you've probably played some, but, I would love to just ask her a bajillion questions.
Well, I was looking her up because I saw that you were trying to, the stuff that you're putting out on Facebook about her, so I actually looked her up, and I do think she did play. I don't know where that was at. Like, I don't know if it was college or, but I want to say she was on some team or something. There's pictures in her Instagram. Have you been through her Instagram?
I
yet?
haven't done her Instagram.
Okay,
I need to look there.
Go. Remember we had that conversation about how you
Yes.
research people? You can find a lot of
I
information.
did, but I did it all through Facebook.
Yeah,
So
go
I
through.
didn't
She
do
does have an
Insta.
Instagram page, and there's actually, I think, more pictures in there because it's a little more personalized. So, but I want to say that she did. But yeah, wow, incredible.
And shout
Nice.
out, like if any
Yeah.
if any of our listeners have contact with her, we would love to have her on our show. Like we
Yeah.
are really interested in her and just her story. So, but yeah, just cool stuff like women being a part of the football community and like what's happening. I'm really excited.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's awesome. Awesome. Thanks for sharing all that.
Of
I love
course.
it. I love it. You guys talk all kinds of stuff: healthy food, football,
I know, right?
random stuff today. So I am super excited to, and I got to move my notes over here so that I can see what I'm doing. But I am super excited to introduce our guest, Sarah Marcopolos, and she wanted me to say with an S. It's like polo with an S, right, Sarah?
Marco Polo
Yes,
with an S.
Marco Polo with
Yeah,
an
you guys got
S.
it. Hey.
That's right. And so she works in the financial service industry. And the neat thing about Sarah is, doing what she does, she gets to talk to a lot of people, hear their stories and their struggles and how they survive through that. And she gets to help with that process. But in doing so, she created her own TV talk show on the internet, and it features on Mondays at 7:30, and it's called, what is it called, Sarah?
It's called What's Your Story with Sarah
That's-
Marcopolos. Now you have me tongue-tied.
I know. There's so many tongue ties this
I love
morning.
it.
It's so crazy. And so that airs at 7:30 on every other Monday
Correct.
Central Time. And then she's also doing reruns on her YouTube channel. And so we're super excited to have her on here. The other thing is that she deals with a genetic disorder called PKD, Polycystic Kidney Disease. And through that, she's dealing with that, and that's been interesting to hear her story with that. So I'm going to have her talk a little bit about that. She's in the process of developing right now a 5013C called #Find Sarah a Kidney. So we're super excited to have her. And her philosophy is never let anyone hold you back when you discover your why. It can be the most incredible journey of your life. After all, you are the star of your own movie. Everyone else has a supporting role or a cameo. So I want to welcome Sarah Marcopolos onto our show. We are so excited to have you on here, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always do something fun just like with our listeners so they kind of get a feel of who you are and what you're about. So these are just like fun rapid fire questions. So are you a morning or a night person?
I'm a night person.
A night
We've had
person.
lots of night people
Yeah.
lately. All you little night owls.
I've been trying to change that to the morning, though. So.
Well, we always laugh because I'm team night and Jennifer is team morning. So it's
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, are you going to be my guest or are you going to be her guest?
Well, and the
So
funny thing about that too, we always joke, Sarah, is that our communication, she knows that she's probably going to wake up to some form of communication, and I'm going to wake up to some form of communication.
Yes.
Because we do them at opposite times.
They say it doesn't really matter what time you start your day as long as you start your day productive and positive.
That's
Right.
good. I
Yeah.
like that. That's very good. Are you a cat or a dog person?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an animal lover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are too.
Yes, absolutely. And your favorite food?
Oh my gosh! If you've seen the size of my rear end, I've never met a calorie I didn't like.
It'll be fun. We've talked about June's not funny ruins. It's gonna be fun. I love it.
Do you have a favorite though? Are you a sweet or salty person, or I don't know, what's the scoop? You might
Oh
have
well,
something.
I'm always sweet, but I got a little salty side on me too.
Here we go.
She's gonna fit in well. Sugar spice.
That's
Sugar
right.
spice.
That's
And I'll be everything nice.
That's right.
Okay, that
Works.
sounds wonderful. I love it.
Works.
So tell our listeners just a little bit about you, your background, your life, your career, everything. So.
Oh my gosh, I have had an amazing, incredible life. Honestly, it has given me a lot of challenges. I've overcome roadblocks, incredible people in my life. I'll start from the very beginning. So I was born and raised in Brookings, Oregon, on the coast. We had the redwood forest in our backyard and the view of the ocean from our front window. My father had his own financial service firm in Brookings, Oregon. So at age 42, he ended up going through renal failure. And it's a genetic family disease. We didn't even know what polycystic kidney disease was. He went through renal failure, and the nearest dialysis center was over 3 hours away. So every other day he had to drive to and from Eugene, Oregon to Brookings to get his dialysis treatments. Well, needless to say, it was, very hard on him. He actually tried to commit suicide over it. So I was 9. My sister was 7. So we were very, very young. And at the time, thank God he was able to make it. He, was unsuccessful because shortly after that, he ended up, by the grace of God, getting a kidney transplant out of nowhere. And he's turning 37. He's turning 73, this next year, which is absolutely remarkable. He's one of the longest living kidney transplant surviving patients in the U.S.
Wow.
So that is absolutely incredible. Now, after that kidney transplant, his health insurance company, Greater Oregon Health Insurance Company, ended up going out of business, so they didn't pay that financial claim. And because they didn't pay that claim, he ended up selling his practice, selling his house, and still declaring bankruptcy. Kidney transplant is like $460,000. Dialysis is $90,000 a year.
Wow.
So it's not the cheapest thing to have to go through, but thank God he's still here. Years down the road, my brother ended up going through renal failure. He was 38 years old. He was on dialysis for over 8.5 years, and I saw what kind of life that led to. I'm like, my goodness, I'm not going to go through that. We almost lost him 3 or 4 different times. So just recently, this last year, he ended up getting his own kidney transplant too from a deceased donor, which it leads me to my story. I'm 41 years old. I'm at 24% renal function. I'm still going strong. I've been able to maintain that renal function for the past, year and a half. And every single day I'm writing in my journal, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my health. So just, going through that journey, and with that, going through, 2 ex-husbands who didn't want to be on that journey because I'm very, very entrepreneurial mindset. And with that entrepreneurial mindset, you're always constantly improving and growing and evolving, and you may not necessarily be the same person you were even several years ago because of those growths. So it's very, very important to be equally yoked with someone to want to have that growth with you, to overcome those challenges. So that's what brought me to coming into my financial industry. I came into the financial sector because of the fact I've been through 2 divorces. I understand what that's like, being a woman and having that financial preparedness. I also know what it's like to, deal with, chronic disease. So while I'm sitting down with all these individuals, hearing their incredible stories, one of my clients is like, Sarah, you really need to have a talk show. I'm like, fantastic. What are we going to do? And she goes, I don't know. You're great at talking. Talk about something. I'm like, all right, fantastic. So I just recently started my internet TV talk show because my story is pretty impactful, but it may not impact everybody. Not everyone can relate to that story, but you may have a story, someone else may have a story that they can relate to and touch them and impact them in a specific way. So that came up to, my talk show, What's Your Story with Sarah Marcopolos, Marcopolo with an S, you won't forget it. So it's filmed in front of a live studio audience. I have a radio personality, Ken Bell, as my show announcer, and he likes to play with the audience. He goes, okay, everyone, when I say Marco, you say Polo. Y'all ready now? Marco.
Polo.
That's right. So Marco Polo with an S, you won't forget it. Then I interview my guests. They talk about their different life challenges, they've been through, they've overcome. What was their inspirational moment or person that brought them over the finish line? And what kind of advice they would give someone walking in those shoes. So, and then we end with a musical artist we highlight to show their original work. So far, we've filmed over 6 episodes. The reruns are going to be on my YouTube channel, so please go find my YouTube channel and subscribe. What's Your Story with Sarah Marcopolos? The initial episode is filmed, as aired on every other Thursday at 7:30 Central Time on fmdglobal.com, so internet station, which is really, really exciting. So I'm hoping we can do a lot of fun, raise a lot of awareness, make an impact in the world. So
I love this.
Yeah.
Wow, I was getting chills listening to her story too. Well, and I'd heard Sarah's story before, and it's a huge. I mean, it's definitely. And you're right. Not everybody's going to be able to relate to that, but I think people that have been through some kind of crisis or some kind of chronic condition on some level can understand that, because I do think it takes a certain amount of mindset and determination and grit and tenacity, all those words I love, to get through that. And the thing that stood out of all that you told me that I really loved is your gratitude journaling. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because the power of that, I tell people this all the time when I'm talking to them, people that are dealing with like depression and stuff, because the problem is when you're in the middle of a crisis like that, you are so hyper focused on what is not going right. And think about the people that just, when they don't even have a crisis and they're hyper focused on things that are not going right? But when you do those gratitude journals, I mean, you said that like 3 times about your life, and I'm like, wow, I was like getting chills thinking about it, because that's what I do every day. That's what I do every single day. I get up and I'm just like, you know, like, what kind of magic am I going to make happen today? Because it takes you away, your focus away from what you cannot control.
Yeah. That's right, and it's a power of manifestation too, quite frankly. And if you're focusing on that and you write it down every single day, you're going to start rewiring the neurotransmitters in your brain to start actually putting you in the position subconsciously to start making those things happen.
I agree.
So, which is really, really exciting.
I love it. I have a quick question before we get on to this other one. So are most of your guests now, since you've done, like you said, 6 episodes, right?
Correct.
So are all of these guests people that you are actually clients of yours, or people
no,
that
not
different?
Not all of them. I get them all over the place. Some of them are clients. Some of them are referrals. Some of them I've met networking. They've just got impactful stories.
I love it.
And my musical artists are incredible. So far, we've already had DJ Astronaut on. He'll take you to the moon and back because his music is totally interstellar.
I love it.
And Remy G, has been on there, performing some of his music. A pop, artist and a rapper, which was a lot of fun. And Ken Bell, our announcer, actually does a lot of music mixes, so we had him on performing. We've had former Secret Service, and he's been on there talking about his stories, which was absolutely remarkable. A 501c3 founder herself, talking about kids with disabilities, because her child was born with disabilities with Jeremiah's voice. So all different types of walks. I'm always looking for people with incredible stories and also musical artists.
Love it.
Musical artists who want to make a name for themselves, that we can put their links down, and because this could be listened to all over the world.
Absolutely.
So, and if you have a musical artist on there and they have something in the cloud that you click on to purchase, even at 99 cents, do that 1,000,000 times.
Right.
That's $1 million. So,
right. Powerful.
Yeah, self-promotion. I'm all about, come on my show and promote yourself.
Yeah. Love it, Sarah.
I know.
Love it.
So I would love to know a little bit more about your how you're advocating for PKD, and like what that's looked like, and even maybe like just some of the things you feel like you've gone through that would be unique in just going through that journey.
Well, with PKD, it's actually the 4th leading cause for renal failure in the U.S. And it's even though it's the most common genetic life-threatening disorder, it's actually very rare, and it only affects clusters of families. The leading cause of renal failure is actually diabetes and high blood pressure, and for the most part, those could be avoided.
Correct.
Which is unfortunate. So in those instances, we always recommend that people watch their health, their diet, their exercising, and to avoid those, because there's so many people waiting on the waiting list right now. And most people don't even realize that how living or deceased donors affect a person's life expectancy. So most people think, I have to pass before I can be a donor. That's actually not true. So an individual who actually receives the kidney from a deceased donor, they can expect their life expectancy to expand by anywhere between 8 to 12 years, versus someone who is a living donor can extend the life expectancy of the recipient by 15 to 30 plus years, which is absolutely astronomical. And most people think, I need to keep one kidney in case something happens to the other. It doesn't work that way. If something happens to one, they happen to both. It's like a redundancy. Giving a kidney doesn't affect your mortality or life expectancy in any rate. And a lot of Americans are actually born with one kidney and don't even realize it till later on in life. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. So age has no bearing on whether or not you can be a donor. So talking about those different things, because dialysis is very, very hard on an individual, and yes, it can extend your life expectancy to some point.
Right.
But especially if you're younger, it can be, very hard on the individual. My brother was on it for 8.5 years and developed gray brain matter in his brain, and that affects his short-term memory.
Wow.
So I don't plan on being on dialysis. I'm going to find me a living donor when it comes time. But I've been very fortunate because I'm very tenacious, ambitious, and always watching my health. And so far, knock on wood, I've been able to maintain my renal function at 24% for the last 1.5 years, and that's going strong. So the longer I can maintain that by exercise, weight, and diet, it's not the be-all, fix-all. The longer I can stave that off. But most people would look at me, they're like, oh my God, I wouldn't even suspect.
No. Yeah.
I wouldn't even suspect that there's anything wrong with you because you've got more energy than I do. So my boss says, if you're like this with 24% renal function, I'd hate to see what you would be like at 100%. I'm like, what?
That's hysterical.
Absolutely. They wouldn't even know. But, when you have something that's chronic and genetic and you've been living with it your entire life, you just kind of put it at the back of your head, as far as the things you have to, experience or feel that affect you more in the morning or more in the evening when your body starts to relax and you can start feeling those things. So you just set that aside. You don't let that focus. You don't focus on that.
Right.
Otherwise life would be, miserable. And I'm not about to live a miserable existence because, I have too much joy in this world to, want to experience. So I just have to be mindful, very, very, very mindful about that.
What an inspiration.
So
yeah, I
I
think
love
manifesting has been a huge powerhouse for you. And I even heard somebody say this week, they said, if we would change our mindset, because I think as Americans, what we always do is we start with the ideal and then we see where we are, and then there's the gap. So what if we start at the bottom? What if we start at the bottom with nothing? He was like, even people that are homeless in America, we have shelters, we have food programs. Not that that's an ideal situation, but I mean, we are. There's always something to be grateful for, even if you're. So if you start at the bottom and then you go up, oh my gosh, like you're talking the whole time about, look, I have 24%.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
excited
have
about
0%,
that.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it does. It changes your perspective when you're going from that angle. I really think it does. I talk about this all the time. When I would write, I've trained myself now to do the gratitude in my head. Like I did it for a long time on paper. I'd put it down, and it would be crazy because I would write things like, I'm thankful for my forks. I'm thankful for my cabinets, because I would be like, I've done this every day. Like, what else is there to be thankful for? Paper, pens. But the thing is, there's so much power in all of that because it really does allow you to be mindful. I love that word. I talk about that all the time. Be mindful of the things around you and appreciative. And I don't know, it's a different perspective. I really feel like it gives you a different perspective on life, and I love it. Your story is just powerful. It's powerful.
Well, if you give your brain a command right before you go to sleep, okay? You and not only give it a command, but you visualize that command and put a feeling to it and focus on that, you're going to start visualizing and changing the perception of who it is you see yourself to be.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, which
Powerful.
is absolutely incredibly powerful. And I do that every single night. I visualize exactly who I want to be. I see the end goal in mind. I place a feeling and a command on that. So, and I know exactly where I'm going.
I love it.
Which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, I love that. And it keeps you focused. I think it really, when you're having to deal with, I talk about this all the time, focusing on the big picture, because when you're having to deal with struggles, or you may not feel well that day, or things aren't, just not going the way you want them to go, keeping your eyes on that big picture keeps you grounded. It keeps you right back, focused on it. So, and then again, you can find those wins.
Oh, absolutely. And
love
even
it.
if you're not feeling good, that doesn't mean the day ends.
I agree.
It keeps going. The show must go on.
This must go. It must go on.
I love that.
So right.
I want to ask you just something because it's so funny because like I think you are a Hollywood starlet in your mind because of even based on what you said where you're the main character and everybody else is playing a cameo and what you just said, the show must go on. So like do you have like some sort of thing that happened in your childhood that you kind of relate to with that?
Oh, golly. I don't know.
Or where did it come from then? Because if it wasn't that.
I guess I've always been on a stage or performing or drama or choir or, prancing around like, Marilyn Monroe. I
got this picture of her right now.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Yes! I just got this picture of her right now, like on stage.
That's
her
hilarious.
Hair, and like singing this song. And that's a great song, by the way. That's a good one for you. I love
She's
it.
got like the fur lined like a negligee with the fur on the slippers. Oh yes.
Oh yeah. That's hilarious. Now I've got this picture of her. Is this a little kid picture or a big person picture?
Oh, it's a big person.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm picturing her as this little kid, just like totally vivacious, like just got this like
Boom, baby.
That's right.
You've never been shy, right?
No.
I was gonna
What's that?
What's that? Us shy people be like, Sarah comes in the room like, right? I'm not shy anymore. It doesn't bother me at all now. But when I was little, like, it would have been like, I'd have been like, wow.
No, I'd walk up to people and say, "You're my friend now. Come play with me."
See?
Yeah.
She's like, "You're gonna be my friend today."
Yeah, you're gonna be my friend today. Let's go play.
Okay.
I like to do what I say. Let's do it.
Do you think that would work? Do you think that would work as an adult? You could be like, "Hey, you're gonna be my friend today."
Oh,
okay, people. Could you imagine? Like that would be so fun to just see what people do. You'd be like, "You're gonna be my friend today."
I do that all the time at networking.
Do you?
Yeah.
I haven't been networking with you. I guess I need to go with you.
No,
because I don't do that, but I kind of do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
you do it in a subtle way.
Yeah, well, the other day, I have to tell you a story. You want to talk about networking? We were at a networking the other day, and apparently there was these books that went out, and there was this bald guy on the book, but this guy comes up to the bar, and he actually has a podcast. I or we communicated, but he's got his hand like over the book, so all I see is the top of this bald head. Well, he had a bald head as well, so I go up to him, and I'm like, "So are you passing out books of yourself?" That was my lead. That was my lead. And then he takes his hand off and I'm like, "Oh, that's not you." But it turns out he has a podcast, which we need to check out and probably get him on our show. But it's funny. I need to try that. You're going to be my friend.
I've done that before. I've actually said that before. Like I had a friend at the gym and I was like, I know. You remember how like when we were little, you just go up and be like, "Hey, we're going to be friends." You know?
You could totally pull. You could pull that off.
Yeah, you could.
She could be like, "You're gonna be my friend," and they'd be like, "Oh, okay." How do I say no?
You can't. I'm smiling
at
you.
Especially if you're like, visiting with them and you got the chemistry and you're both like, feeding off of each other. You're like, you know what? You're gonna be my friend.
So like Amy and I'll go together, and I'll be like, "Amy, go make them our friend."
Yeah, it's like a Genie and Aladdin moment.
Yes.
Yeah. Totally. You never had a friend like me. So.
That's good. That's good.
We love it.
That is awesome. Where are we at? We're having too much fun here. So I want to ask you. Oh, well, this is a good one. I think this is good because you've done a lot of things. So when you're going after a project, working on something, maybe a goal, because obviously you did. You had to create this show. You're working on this 501 thing. You've got all these things you've been doing.
Oh, yeah, I'm changing my production on it, too. So I actually am in negotiations to having talk to someone about hiring them to fly a drone across the skyline of Dallas.
Interesting.
So that way I can do a full new intro on my show. So they're going to talk about, permitting and all that stuff to be able to do that, to get the footage.
Yeah.
So I could redo my intro. I have someone about to sell advertising space, so I can change it to a 4-crew production, with full lighting and sound, editing. So I'm totally excited about the different direction we're going with the show as far as production quality, which is going to be really nice down the pipeline.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
All
right, well, who's knocking?
There.
So when you're going after these big projects, these things that you're working on, what does that process look like for you? We always talk about everybody has their own systems and things that they do. So what does this look like for you?
Well, first it starts in my head.
Okay.
I visualize. I'm very, very imaginative. imaginative. When I start, because thoughts become things.
Mhm.
When I'm
Yes.
thinking about it, I think about every single minute detail, and everything always looks better in my head than when it actually starts happening. So I don't even realize the project until it actually starts going into effect. So whatever I'm doing, I have to like 310x the effort that's going to be put into that automatically. Because I just don't know all the hurdles that are going to come as I'm growing it.
Right.
So I'm a perfectionist. I need to not be. So I understand that I have to start getting it going, because if I wait for it to be perfect, it's never going to go.
And
And practice makes perfect as long as it's perfect practice.
yes.
So I've already been, implementing those things. So I always start with the vision. Once I start with the vision, then I start putting it down on paper, what it's actually going to look like and the small little steps that's going to take me there, with the end goal in mind, always.
I love it.
That's really good.
Absolutely.
That is what we were talking about at our event.
Yeah.
Everything we were talking about. You got to do things despite knowing all the hows. You're
Yeah.
not going to know all those steps that it's going to take to get somewhere. You just have to have the picture in mind, focus on that. The rest will happen.
And the rest will happen, and it's while you're overcoming hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, that prepares you for the next ones that come.
I agree.
That's true.
So, when people are like, I've paid my dues, you never stop paying
No.
your dues.
No.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never stop paying your dues. You're always having to overcome something, and it's so rewarding every time you do.
I agree with you.
Every time you do.
You said something interesting too. You said talking about visualizing, but then you also said basically you 10x the massive action, which is interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say that. They're like, yeah, I mean, everybody talks about taking massive action, but you're like, okay, so this would be like what I would normally take, and then you're like, I 10x that.
Well,
Wow.
yeah, you
That's
have
really
you
big.
have to, because you don't necessarily know the work involved until you start doing it. You may have
Yeah.
an idea, but then you realize it's so much more. And because of that, not everyone will want to keep up with you, or not everyone
Yeah.
will have that same idea and vision. That's why it's always important to have like-minded people around you.
I
Mhm.
agree.
Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, so many people, I think that's what happens. They visualize it, they put the steps in place, and then they start doing it, and they're like, oh, this is harder than I thought. I have heard people say that. And they start dropping like flies instead of going, no, the goal is still worth it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to put more work into it than I expected. So if you're
Exactly.
already expecting to 10x what you're already going to do, then hey, like you're going to overcome any of those little
Yeah.
hiccups. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
you
really
have
interesting.
to. And some people just don't have that same mentality or mindset. And
Yeah.
you have to recognize that and just be aware. And
Yeah.
just keep going and not let anyone tell you can or cannot do something, especially if you know how important it is to be
Yeah.
able to do that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was talking about that. I always say you cannot go in kind of wanting to do something. Because if
Yeah.
you kind of go into it, you're going to kind of go out of it.
It's
Yeah.
so
So
true.
you just have to say, I always look at things like when I start something, I just assume there's going to be a risk, there's going to be problems, there's probably going to be things, and I just mentally prepare for that.
Uh-huh.
But my brain also has the mindset that I'm like, and maybe it's because I've had to deal with a chronic condition that your mindset is like, if I can weather through that, I got anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Like, I've got anything.
Oh yeah, no one told me when I got diagnosed with my PKD, Polycystic Kidney Disease, at 15.
Right.
Mm.
All right, and
Yeah.
my family was of the mindset with no scientific backing whatsoever on this, that because I'm a woman, I'd be okay, it wouldn't affect me, which wasn't the case at all.
Yeah.
So no one sat me down at 15, whether it was, a family member or even a physician, say, okay, you're born with half a life expectancy. What are you going to do with your life?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that for a second.
Right.
You're born with half a life expectancy. What are you going to do with your life? That's powerful and impactful. And if I would have thought or would have realized how valuable that was, I probably would have made different decisions
Yeah.
when I was younger. That being said, knowing what I know now, I'm never going to live my life with a single regret for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
If I want it, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to have it. It's going to be mine, period.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Does
goodness.
that make sense?
Yes, it
Absolutely.
does.
Yes.
It really-
Absolutely.
Man, that is such a powerful statement. And yeah, you're right. I mean, like, if you're like, okay, you're going to die at 50, or you're going to die at 40, or you're going to die, right? Like, you're like, okay, I have half the time everybody else. I mean, it is interesting. And people die at young ages that have
Yeah.
done powerful things. We were just talking about Marilyn Monroe. I
Right.
mean, I was just on, Facebook last night and somebody was talking about her. I mean, we talk about her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I'm going to live a long, old life.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I'm going to get me a kidney transplant. I'm going to have an incredible donor. I'm going to teach other people how they can give the best gift ever, and that's the gift of life. I could save lives across the board. I'm going to live a long time, but I'm going to live my life like every single moment is right now. That counts.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the power of why. That's pretty impactful.
Yeah. I love it, Sarah. I love it. Who would you say is your biggest influencer?
My biggest influencer. I've had so many.
You can name them. Go for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My dad.
It's the Oscar speech right now.
I'd like to thank my dad. I'd like to thank God.
The Academy. Thank you, Academy, for voting for me.
I'd like to, Will Pierce, who changed my life, brought me into the firm I'm at now. Let's see, Katrina, who pushed me out of my comfort zone. It all comes down to being pushed out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
To start my show in the first place. She hounded me for years. You have to do a talk show. Finally, I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
My marketer that I have right now, Byron Ingram, he's incredible too. I've just had so many incredible you know what? I honestly have to say my 2 ex-husbands.
Do tell.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
Oh my God. The challenges of what to look for, experience, understand the psychology, of how different people work, the lessons I taught, or the lessons they taught me, just going through those struggles, understanding. I think the biggest lessons they taught me is understanding that I have value. They can't take away my value.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So those struggles, I would not take that away for anything. I am important. I'm incredible. I have value. And your words will not put me down. Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
So good.
Absolutely.
I love
it. And you have to go through those growing pains, to really become stronger. So, if we are strong in ourselves and in what power we have above us, who can be against us? Quite frankly.
Oh, I agree. And I love that you're owning your power.
Yes.
That's the thing I really love about what you're
Absolutely.
saying, is that you're owning it. Because so many women do not do that. And a lot of times, even when we're doing these podcasts, we'll ask them, what is your strongest quality? And they sometimes have a difficult time even saying what that is. Like, I can easily tell you, like, I got grit and tenacity.
Yeah.
I'm persistent. I can tell you that I'm organized. I can tell you those things, and I don't feel bad about them.
No.
But everything that you're saying, I love, because you're owning that.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. A lot of the struggles that you go through, I think they make you who you are.
You really got to take responsibility.
Yeah.
You really got to take responsibility of your choices and actions at the end of the day.
You do.
You really do.
Yes.
Because that's where that's what brought us all to where we're at today.
Right.
Quite frankly.
Right.
And if it wasn't for those challenges that I've had with those 2 previous ex-husbands, I know exactly what I want now if one ever does come my way. I know what type of individual or man that would have to be able to handle this.
Sarah.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah,
handle
yes,
this. Yeah.
yes.
I understand what complacency looks like now. I understand those different lifestyles of what my life has looked like, what it could look like.
Yeah.
Which one am I going to choose?
Sure.
So, and through those struggles, I've made my choice.
Right. Right.
And I'm totally excited about that. So yes, even though it didn't initially turn out the way I wanted it to when it started, I'm so glad those were big influencers in my life in a very positive way, actually.
It's wonderful.
Yeah,
Wow, what an
absolutely.
inspiration you are, Sarah.
I know.
Thank you.
It's so good.
I love it.
It's amazing just to kind of hear. And I will say, having a bigger personality, like initially when you are dating, that can be interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jennifer's dealt with that too. I mean, I think all of us, where it can be just kind of, you do have to find the right person who is the right balance, or it works, or whatever, the right chemistry, whatever that is. So, and I feel like it can be a little bit more challenging. So, but yeah, I must say, like, I'm super impressed just with how you really do live your life, like full out, like charge on all the way down the hill, like
Yes.
let's go. I mean, you really do. Like, I can say, like, since I've known you, I can see how you're like, I'm never going to have a regret. Like, I feel like you're never going to hold yourself back. You're never going to let a fear hold you back. I've definitely seen that. And so it's really powerful. So
thank you, Amy. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I got a question for you.
Amy's amazing.
She is.
Yeah,
That's why we
known her
have
for a long time now.
That's why we have fun working together.
I love your guys' chemistry.
Thank you.
I sang that.
Oh, thanks.
Earlier.
We have fun together.
We do. We do. Any other bucket list items you got for yourself?
That's good.
Bucket list items. I'm just trying to get through the items I have.
I know
right
you've got
now.
amazing things,
Well,
but you're such a visionary, so I just imagine you've got like more things brewing in the back there.
I do. But let me get through the ones first. Have you guys ever seen Tangled?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
you know where the princess is in the boat with the prince?
Yes.
Mhm.
And she turns to the prince and says, "What happens if I achieve all my dreams? What do I do next?" The prince says, "Well, that means you can go ahead and dream another dream."
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
So I love Disney stuff. But I do have quite a few things on my bucket list. At some point, I want to write my keynote speech. Maybe be a TED Talk speaker.
Yeah.
Which would be really fun and exciting. I have to rethink how I'm going to do my book. As far as some of the compliance issues that I have in my regular, job on how to get that published. But I have a lot of things down the pipeline that will come at some point. So, but getting my show off and my 501c3 hashtag Find Sarah Kinney off, the ground. So really excited about that. It's more about raising awareness on the importance of not just deceased organ donors, but living ones too. And it's not just about me, it's about everyone across the board.
Yeah.
So, I'm really excited about seeing what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
I see a lot of big things in your future, Sarah.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be a
things.
national and international name,
I love it.
Yeah, trust me,
So
it's
awesome.
coming. It's coming.
She's cute.
And I love how Amy manifests, she's like even telling her telling the listeners, if you know this person,
Right.
Yeah.
We
Bring
do
them
this.
on.
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
this. We do.
Yeah.
We look for people, and funny, we have different kinds of people, but I do the same thing. I try to find my niche of people out there. It's how we got Marie Emmerich on here, and which was pretty phenomenal because she's been on a lot of podcasts. And so we look for people, and if you know them, send them our direction because
Absolutely.
we are trying to get them, and we will reach out to them.
I'd love to have you guys on my show too.
Hey,
Exactly.
we're open to it. We're open to it. If our viewers want to get in connect with you, Sarah, how do they go about doing that?
Okay, they can reach out to me on my email.
Okay.
Actually, which is whatsyourstory@gmail.com.
Okay.
Please email me some of the highlights of your own stories, your profession, what you overcame, what was your inspirational moment. So I'd love to hear those. If you are a musical artist, I'm always looking for original music artists who want to highlight their work. I'm always going to put links, on my show for that, so to promote them. Subscribe to my new YouTube channel, What's Your Story with Sarah Marcopolos. I'd love to see as many subscribers there as possible. I'm just now downloading the reruns for that now. I'm hoping the next filming will be end of February, early March for our new season. So that is the goal for that. But that's the best way to reach out to me right now. You can also look me up on Facebook and LinkedIn. I have a lot of Facebook followers. I have a lot of fun on Facebook, so my personal and professional pages. That's a great way to not only keep following me, but to get to know me as a person, as an individual. Some of my quirks, things I like. Love posting music videos or something dirty because I'm a little bit of a nerd internally too.
I love that.
Absolutely, totally excited about the new Picard coming out on CBS All Access. Excited about that.
Awesome.
Yes. So I totally was into Game of Thrones when it was out, and
Very good.
Can you do the V thing though?
Yes.
You can.
She can do it.
Can you do it?
On both hands. On
I
both
can do it,
hands.
but I can't get them done.
Yeah.
I can't kind. Well, that's awesome. And Sarah,
That's so funny.
we will put some of your links, and when
Sure.
we post this, we'll actually get some of your links in there with your bio as well. So Wow, incredible, awesome,
Yeah.
powerful. You are
Powerful.
so. I love you're well spoken, and I love your. I love
appreciate that.
not that I love what you had to go through, but I love your story. I think it's powerful and
Thank
impactful,
you.
and I think that it's going to resonate. There are going to be somebody out there that's going to resonate on some level. So thank you for sharing it with us.
Absolutely.
And,
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, opening your heart to us and all that good stuff. It was amazing.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys
So, thank you. So, we want to tell our listeners, if you love our podcast, be sure you give us a rating on iTunes and, of course, on Facebook. We cannot do this show without you, and we appreciate your ratings. I do want to finish up with our Starter Girls mantra.
Do it.
So, it's a great day to be brave. You are not getting any younger. You might as well start now. You have the power to change your circumstances any day you decide. Let today be that day. Rise up and be amazing. Be you, do you. All right, you guys take care, be safe, and be kind to one another. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.